Okay, so I don't know what the lighting is going to be like, but we're going to go with it. Ignore the absolutely battered slow cooker. I do need a new one. However, I'm going to do 2 meals with 2 meats. Using both meats, both meals. Those we're going to do a pulled gammon and roast chicken dinner. So first thing we're going to get this on the slow cooker overnight. Nice and easy to do that. I'm going to apologise, but that's going to go on low. It's now close to 9 o'clock. It's just going to go on for about 18 hours, but that's fine. So to that, I'm not asking to add much, but I am going to put some boiled water, just about cover it, which that's fine because it's going to slow cook anyway. But to that pan, I'm going to add 2 chicken stock pots. These are the Oxo ones. They work perfectly well. You could make your own stock if you wanted to. I ain't got no time for that. So there we go. That's there. That can now be left for 24 hours if you wished. But come back to that tomorrow. That's that job done. Next job is to get this on a salt bake overnight. Not a salt bake, a salt rub to brine it overnight. Now, I don't have any nice salt, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually break down some of my own. I've only got the cheap chemical table salt, so in my little pestle, I'm going to put some kosher sea salt. I need quite a lot of that, and I'm going to break that down. Without spilling it, I'll try not to spill it. So, of course, it's got much nicer flavour to it. Better than the chemical salt you buy now. Chemical salt's alright, you know, put it on chips, that's fine, but if you're gonna if you're gonna brine something and dry brine it, then the better quality salt, better flavour overall. You could actually probably spend most of this video watching me grind salt. Sorry. Right, so there we go. That'll do for now. So to that, I'm now going to add my potatoes. The best thing about a roast dinner, and particularly some, you know, if you're doing a big roast dinner like a New Year's Day or Christmas dinner, you can do loads of it the night before, do all your prep, could even do half the cooking in some cases. I know my Christmas dinner, all that's left by the day after really is to cook the roasties, mash and the meat. So I'm just going to give this a generous coating of salt. It's not really well grounded, but you'll do. Again, I'm just going to turn that over and give the back a nice rub with that salt. I'm going to firmly massage it. I mean, it's not as fine as I want it to be, but it'll do. We've done that, okay? And that can now go in the fridge for, well, 24 hours, about 18 for me. We'll return to this tomorrow. Here we go. Here's my chicken, around 18 hours with a dry brine. Now, There's a bit of an issue here because I would usually not use butter, but we can't use butter on account of my son's quite strong dairy allergy. But we are going to flavour it, so the first thing I want to do in there, I'm going to a room shop. The first thing I want to do is get a whole bulb of garlic. Okay, bulb of garlic. I'm going to slice the top off and I'm going to jam it right in there. There's no room for an onion, but what there is room for is, have I got one somewhere? I've got one somewhere. Sorry, there we go. What there is for is a lemon juice that adds a lovely kind of acidity to the gravy. Okay, there's plenty of salt on that. There's been plenty of salt of it, so I don't really want to do any more. So all I'm going to do is sprinkle with pepper. Okay. Now I would usually use butter, like I say. Okay, but we're not doing today. Could use olive oil, but I don't have olive oil. Can't get olive oil. So that's how it's going to go in, but usually I put a bit of olive oil on there. So actually what I'm going to do instead, just a little bit, and I've got some vegetable oil to the side. Okay, so I'm just going to put that, and what that does, that helps to crisp up the bird. Okay, that's going to go in. This is around 2 kilos, so it's about 1 hour 50 minutes. I do know by time, but generally if you're buying a chicken in this country, it does have cooking times on it, and generally those are very good. So that's going to go in an oven for 1 hour 50 minutes. After 20 minutes, I'll show you what we do next. And there's our roast chicken. Done, cooked perfectly, perfect temperature, nice and crispy skin, and that's going to be delicious and delightfully, I mean delightfully moist on the inside. What we're going to do now is transfer this to a plate with a bit of difficulty. Be stupid and grab a hot pan with your thumb and finger like me and regret it instantly, but oh well, these things happen. I was about to do it again then. Why would you grab a hot pan? You silly man. And with hopefully relatively easy, what we're going to do, we're going to just take that out. Okay, this is our delicious stock there. So we're going to take, don't know if you can see that. So what I'm doing now, we've got the stuff here. We're going to take the lemon out, put that into there, and it is somewhere in here. Oh, and already messed up. It's broken apart, so we're just going to scoop it out. But we do have garlic in there somewhere. So that's going to make a delicious gravy in a minute. There you go. And what we're always going to do, and move that one to the one side. Okay. And there we go. A delicious roast chicken. Perfect. You can have this with chips. It's delicious with chips and fresh tiger bread, by the way. Or you can have it as I am going to do on a roast dinner. So, this is how we make a simple gravy with meat juices. Now what I've got here is a bit of stock that's left over from a chicken roast with a lemon and garlic. Now I'm going to add my juices, and to that my chicken wings. Okay, put that on low. Okay, and then that's it today. You could add the bottom of the skin off the bottom, I suppose. There's a well, actually I can get some of that. So I'm going to get the skin off the bottom of the chicken. Although to be fair, I need to keep some of that for my pie. You know what I mean? It's right. We've been like to slow heat now. There's several ways of doing this. Personally, I start with a flour, make a bit of a roux. Do it by I add some liquid In my case, I'm using some basic, well, just some water, salted water that's used to boil potatoes in. If I boil veg, I'll use that. Or, you know, worst comes to worst, I use the normal water. So like with a cheese sauce, I'm going to do this by eye. Just do it over here. Now I do want it quite thick, so I'm going to go for that now. And it's a little bit more difficult to do, but we're going to have this on low. The reason it's going to low is it will catch quite quickly. I'm going to make sure as well that while I'm whisking this flour in, I'm getting all that delicious browning off the bottom of the pan. That is all flavour and it's delicious. And this is the best thing about gravy, particularly if you're doing your own. You can add whatever you want, thyme, rosemary. In this case I've got a bit of lemon and roasted garlic that is roasted with the chicken. Now that's been kind of added properly. I'm going to add some sauce. I am going to whack up the heat now though, just so I can get a bit of a something going on here. So there's that. Got to be careful when you're doing this gravy because there's that many chunky things in the pan that without warning it can splash up and go out like that. Splash up and go everywhere. Now, anything really, this gravy, only difference is with what most people would do, and I'm not going to say it this time, but you do know why, those that watch my channel repeatedly. I'd usually, add a knob of butter to give it that smooth, silky finish, that shine and glossiness. But as you know by now, those that have watched, I can't actually use proper butter, anything that's dairy related. Not for me, but that's the way it is. And to be fair, I'd argue that most people wouldn't notice that much of a difference. So that's in there. I'm going to turn it up because we need it to start simmering, so we can have at least a half hour simmer on that. And while that's coming up to boil, because you can never have enough stock, we're going to add 2 chicken stock pots. I'm not going to bother dissolving them because I am adding water as I'm going along, and that's it. I'm going to keep working this gravy. Now we do have to be careful because there is flour in there and it will catch, so we're going to keep moving it. Now it doesn't look appetising at the moment, there's all the little bits, chicken, juices, everything in there, but once it's made I will strain this into a pan. And whack it up again because it's still not quite the temperature I want, and I'll come back in a second. So here we go. I've just had a massive quick repair that's been needed. My other elements had shorted, gathering, the grind behind the fan. So funny story, I've had to just quickly stop everything and change that, and now everything's back cooking. So this is the gravy. It's heating up nicely. Okay, we're working this, making sure that it doesn't catch. Now I'm just going to taste it. It needs a little bit more water to be fair. It's still quite thick, which is good. So what happens usually, I overwork this, make it too thin, like I've probably done now, and then end up having to put starch in. But that's fine, because we can do that, and that's easy. But we're just going to cook this, continue cooking this, and let that drain. Because the longer you cook this, the more flavour you're going to get. So I'll come back in a minute when that's ready. So here are my roasties, they're looking deliciously golden. In about another 10 minutes, so what I'm going to do is throw in some garlic, just to give it a bit of a well, because I'm doing garlic and rosemary potatoes. But there you go, throw some garlic in, throw it in nice and salted. So these are going to go back in for about 15 minutes, job done. Okay, so as predicted, because of the salt content in potato starched water, obviously the salt from the salt brine on the chicken and then the stock, this had to be diluted further. So what I'm going to do now, okay, because it is tasting fantastic, I'm just going to add a bit of starch water. So this is potato starch because I don't have any corn starch, but potato starch does the job. You can see that thickening up nicely now. And I'm just going to keep working this gravy. When it's to a desired thickness, you can see that thickness. That is getting really thick now, which is good. Already made a mess. Trying to clean as I go along. So I'm going to have one final taste of that, make sure that there's no, well, that it's still not salty anyway, but it's got to have some salt. Yeah. Put a little bit of black pepper in, I think. No. Where is it? A bit of white pepper, I think. There we go. That's our delicious chicken gravy. Now what we're going to do is just slide this over here without trying to wreck it. I am looking for something in specific. Ah, there we are. So all I'm going to do now, turn that down to low, really low. I'm just going to leave that on a simmer now. What I am going to do is now strain this, so I've got a thick, kind of glossy, because obviously there's no butter, gravy. So strain that through. Make sure that that's well and truly strained, okay? Which is why I've got it on low, to allow that gravy to seep through. Just work it around a bit so it comes out. We want as much of this fruit sieve as possible, just to give that flavour. A bowl. Just transfer that too. Again, just working that through, getting as much of that flavour out as possible. The more flavour, the better. Perfect. That can go now. And what we have there is a delicious, thick chicken gravy. I'm just going to transfer that to a low heat till I need it. Be back on the other side. And there you go. Another beautiful sauce, side dish, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to make an absolute pig's ear of this, but here we go. Let's get some of that beautiful gravy in there. Make an absolute mess of it, which I always do. So before I actually do anything else, I'm going to wipe that down. And there you have it, a delicious, rich, thick chicken gravy made with the meat juices. As usual, don't forget, wherever or whenever you are viewing this video, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Click links to the right to see some more of my beautiful, delicious recipes. Give that notification bell a ring to be informed of future content. And last but not least, comment below what's on your plates.